Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are talking about the nerfing of premium ships. This is a pretty hot topic right now for a few reasons. The first one being that Thunder, the Tier 10 premium British battleship, is receiving a direct nerf. She's getting about a kilometer shaved off of her base range, which means that now instead of having a 24 kilometer base range, she will have a 23 kilometer base range on her guns, and 27 with range mod. Which may seem like a pretty small change if you look at it at the surface level, but if you've been noticing, Wargaming has been taking a more slow and deliberate approach with changes and buffs to ships, rather than changing a lot at one time. So I think we'll probably see a few more range reductions from the Thunderer, and it'll probably, if I had to guess, end up at like a 21 or 22 kilometer base range, so you can have like a 26 or a 25 kilometer range with the range mod on, which I think will help out quite a bit with the biggest problem with the Thunderer, which is its guns. Its guns are insanely accurate. They reload in 22 seconds if you take the reload module, and the chance of starting a fire per shell is 63% or 64%, I believe, with fire flags and with the pyrotechnician captain skill. So it's quite potent. You can basically do about 10 to 15k alpha damage because it's British BBHE, which has insane alpha and that insane chance of starting a fire, to where you'll probably be setting, 2 fires on top of doing 10 to 12k fire HE alpha damage on a ship. It's absolutely miserable to fight against the Thunderer. It's not fun at all, because not only does it have those guns, it has a 12.3 kilometer detection range with the concealment build, and it has good enough armor to where if the captain has more than 4 brain cells, they can angle against pretty much any battleship and still bounce the shells. And plus it has a 10-second rudder shift time on a massive battleship. So yeah, those are some of my problems with Thunderer. If you want to see all my problems with Thunderer, go check out my Thunder is Broken video, which has aged like just beautifully over the past couple of months. But anyway, so that's happening to Thunderer, which that turns some heads. Then Stalingrad's getting a nerf too, the tier 10 premium Soviet supercruiser, which came out like 3 years ago, which, I mean, good God, it has to be like the oldest ship getting a nerf or something like that. She's getting 5-second shade off of her rudder duration, not rudder, her radar duration time. Yeah, they're shaving her rudder off. 5 seconds shaved off of her radar time, which seems a little strange, but when you look at the commander skills now and how you can really build into the consumables, you can get like a freaking 40-second radar off of Soviet cruisers now. And these Soviet cruisers normally have around a 12-kilometer radar range, which a 40-second radar at that distance, yeah, that's a bit much. That is truly a bit much, so that's kind of more understandable there. And the biggest, well, at least in my comment section at least, the biggest surprise seems to be the description of the Flanders, which is the new Tier 8 premium French battleship. In her description, there's a little disclaimer that says, if deemed necessary, balance changes may be applied to Flanders. And that is one of the most commented things on my Flanders review. Now, this statement has been seen before in the description of certain premium ships, most notably with ARP Yamato, and also with the, I can't remember the name of the ship, I think it's the Wujing? It's the Alsace clone that they made for the Journey to the West event. It's literally just a copy-paste Alsace that's no difference, a Pan-Asian battleship. And that was taken in those terms of saying, hey, this is a copy of Alsace, or this is a copy of Yamato. If either ship gets buffed or nerfed, those changes will be applied to this ship as well to keep it in line. Which is understandable if you're just doing a clone of a ship, I can see that. But it's the first time, to my knowledge at least, this statement has been put into the description of a premium ship that isn't just a clone. Now, the Flanders is based off of the Alsace, but there's several key differences between the Flanders and the Alsace. The top speed's different, the armor's different, the guns are different, the HP pool's different, so it's not exactly an Alsace clone. So it's not the same situation as the ARP Yamato and the Alsace and the Wujing. It's not a copy-paste ship, so it's its own unique ship, and they're putting that disclaimer there. Which this would be the first time, again, to my knowledge, that this disclaimer has been put in the description of a unique premium ship. So, should we be okay with them saying, hey, if we need to change this thing for balance, we're going to change it? In my personal opinion, I think we should. Premium ships should be subject to nerfs and buffs if they need them. It's just good for game balance. And I know, wargaming balancing, there's going to be those people out there, but just looking at it from a gameplay point of view and from a balancing point of view, if something's too strong or too weak, it needs to be changed for the health of the game. Like with Thunderer. Like I said earlier, Thunder is one of the most miserable ships in the game to fight against, and this nerf to it is good for the game's health. Before the Commander rework, one of the primary reasons that a lot of people were sitting in the back was because that's really the only way you can deal with Thunderer. Because of its armor, because of its maneuverability, and because of the accuracy of its main battery guns, you simply had to get out of its gun range and try to either break line of sight and reposition, or if you're in something like Yamato, Musashi, or Shikishima, get out of its range, keep it within your range, and return fire. Then, of course, the Commander rework came, and boy, Deadeye did a whammy on the meta. But anyway, and just using another ship as an example, on FDR. FDR, it's got a lot of problems right now. Its planes are like 9 destructible unless you've got literally 4 or 5 ships sitting on top of each other. It gets extra broken points too because it's a CV. Other premiums that are a little bit too strong. Well, Slava before, like the Pobeda, that ship was too strong. Then they changed it up to where it's pretty decent, and then Deadeye came out and unnerfed the Slava, turned it back into the Pobeda, but with less armor in terms of its gun's accuracy. Now, if you haven't played Slava with Deadeye, boy, you can like just shoot the pixels off of Apollo Emilio at top speed if you got enough aiming skills there. But yeah, ships that are too strong should be subject to nerfs, in my opinion. Doesn't matter if it's tech line ships or premium ships. Now, am I saying they should go and absolutely dumpster a ship for no reason? No. It's got to be pretty busted to get a change in the first place, and that should be applied to any ship. They don't need to go and nerf the Kremlin right now because it's been nerfed enough to where it's basically stuck in its place, and it's honestly a pretty good place too. Or like Montana. Montana doesn't need to be nerfed right now. It's fine. Or GK, or Yamato, they're all pretty well balanced right now. And premium ships have been nerfed before, indirectly and directly. You can go look at a lot of the dev blogs. We can go to the dev blog website right now and look at some of the changes that have been made over the past year or so to specifically premium ships. It's been done before in the past, so I don't know why people are very surprised about it. I guess because it's in writing saying that, hey, we will balance this if we need to, which I think is pretty good that they're saying that up front. So people don't get this impression that Wargaming is never going to nerf premium ships. That was something that just started as a rumor, and I think it got it started in like World of Tanks, and it kind of migrated over here because it's the same company and all that jazz. But whatever. But also, if they can be nerfed, they can be buffed, which is something that a lot of older premium ships sorely need. I mean, go look at some of the really old premium ships and try to play them now. They do not have what they once had in terms of their uniqueness and their abilities. For example, the Texas, the Tier 5 American premium battleship. Its whole thing was that it was a no-fly zone. Like, it literally had the best AA in the game until Tier 8. A Tier 5 ship. Keep that in mind. And this is back with the RTS CVs when you really needed that level of AA if you wanted to prevent a CV from striking you. It was so good that CVs would just avoid the Texas, even if you somehow got into like a Tier 8 game. Good luck trying to hit a Texas with a Tier 8 CV, or even a Tier 10 CV, for being honest. I did a video way back in the day called the AA Gauntlet, and I shoved the Texas in there against like 10 midways. It did pretty darn good, which was pretty hilarious. But anyway, there's several other examples of this, like the Belfast, for example. The Belfast was removed because it was too OP at Tier 7, but now we have ships that can do pretty much everything that the Belfast can do, except for like the radar at Tier 7. So it's not that unique anymore in terms of its utility. We can also take a look at what's another older premium? The Missouri. Good God, the Missouri. Other than the special economy it gets, it's not special at Tier 9 anymore, except for like its radar. That's it. And it wasn't even that special to begin with. It was just a better Iowa, but it hasn't received the buffs that the American battleship line have gotten. It hasn't gotten the better heal. It still has its original heal, which was worse than the Iowa's original heal back in the day. And now Iowa, well, from Tier 8 and above, all those American battleships have the improved American battleship heal now, and it doesn't have that. So it's kind of stuck there. So if we all get okay with changes happening to premium ships, perhaps the devs will be more inclined to changing these older premium ships to keep them up with the modern World of Warships. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, they're not going to do that because they want you to buy new premium ships that are better than the older ones, which may be true, but I mean, it would be nice to see that happen. It really would, and to do that, we'd have to be okay with these changes happening to these ships. But like I said a few minutes ago, if something's broken, it needs to be fixed for the sake of the health of the game. Because if they do go along the cycle of just releasing these OP premiums, selling a crap ton of them, and nerfing them afterwards, that's obviously very, 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 very bad for the game. In terms of, one, you're going to frustrate people with, people buying these ships for either real money or in-game resources, and then you turn around nerfing them sometime later. Like, the Thunder's been out for quite some time. I think well over a year by now, and now it's just getting a nerf. I'm not sure if it's, not a whole lot of people had them before, even though they're fairly common, and just like when they announced she was leaving, they were everywhere, and people got really frustrated with it and started vocalizing their frustrations. And then Wargaming said, we may actually have to nerf this now, or something like that. And of course, in terms of releasing just outright broken premium ships, is very, very, very bad for game balance. And of course, it's very frustrating to fight against those types of ships. I mean, have you fought against a Thunderer and literally anything, even another Thunderer? It's just a terrible experience, or I'm sure most of us has been the subject of an FDR attack or two. But anyway, guys, that is my opinion on the situation right now. Again, if it's bad for the game, it should be fixed. If it's not doing so hot and needs some help, it should be buffed. That's what I think overall. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 25,000 subs. We just passed 23,600 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Again, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.